What if African religions remained dominant? This is a story of the spirits of Africa, a continent without foreign religions.
What if, what if? What if, what if?
Our history is more than what we are told. It is a story of resilience, power, and pride. Oh, my fellow Africans, before the arrival of Islam and Christianity, Africa was a land of diverse spiritual traditions. From the Yoruba Ifa system in West Africa to the spiritual leadership of the Kikuyu, the Akan, the Zulu, and the Dogon African religions guided morality, governance, and society. But what if these belief systems had remained dominant? What if foreign religions never took over Africa's spiritual and political landscape? How would governance, morality, and daily life have evolved? Would Africa be more united, more self-reliant, more in harmony with nature? Let's explore an alternate reality where African spirituality remained the foundation of African society. To understand what was lost, we need to examine how it happened. Indigenous African religions weren't just personal beliefs. They were deeply tied to governance, justice, and social harmony. In many African societies, religion was inseparable from leadership. Kings and chiefs were seen as divine intermediaries, and justice was dispensed through spiritual guidance. Harmony with nature was central, and moral codes were enforced by ancestral spirits, not by written laws. But as Islam spread through trade and Christianity, through colonization, African religions were gradually suppressed. Missionaries labeled them as pagan. Colonial governments banned spiritual practices, and over time, many Africans adopted foreign faiths. By the 20th century, Christianity and Islam had become the dominant religions, reshaping governance, morality, and even African identities. Now, let's reimagine history. What if African spiritual systems had remained dominant? What would governance look like? How would justice work? Would African societies be more in tune with nature? In this alternate timeline, African spirituality isn't just about personal faith. It's the foundation of government, law, and social order. Spiritual leaders serve as advisors to kings and presidents, ensuring harmony between people, nature, and the spirit world. Instead of legal systems modeled after Europe, Africa develops a justice system based on spiritual consultation. Oracles, diviners, and elders resolve disputes through ancestral wisdom, and justice focuses on restoration rather than punishment. Would an Africa rooted in its indigenous spirituality have advanced differently in science and technology? Absolutely. In this world, African herbal medicine is not dismissed as superstition, but refined into a respected medical science. Ancient knowledge of plants, acupuncture-like healing practices, and energy-based medicine become central to healthcare. What if Africa's spiritual traditions had guided technological progress? The Dogon people of Mali had knowledge of Sirius B, an invisible star, long before modern telescopes. Could African cosmology have led to a completely different understanding of the universe? My people, in an Africa where indigenous spirituality remained dominant, society would have had a different moral foundation. Instead of commandments written in a foreign language, morality would be guided by ancestral wisdom, communal values, and by nature itself. Respect for elders, balance with nature, and communal living would remain the heart of the society. Instead of foreign religious texts defining morality, Africans would look to their ancestors and natural laws for guidance. One major impact of foreign religions was division. Christianity and Islam created religious tensions, sometimes leading to conflict. But what if African spirituality had remained dominant? A shared spiritual foundation might have created a stronger sense of African unity. Instead of religious divisions, Africa would have been bound by common ancestral beliefs and values. My fellow people, what can we learn from this alternate history? Well, of course, we can't rewrite history, but we can reclaim our spiritual heritage. Many Africans today are reconnecting with their ancestral religions. From Yoruba, Ifa, to Akan spiritual traditions, indigenous faiths are seeing a revival. My fellow Africans, whether we are Christian, Muslim, or followers of African traditions, we must recognize that Africa's spiritual wisdom has always been a powerful force. Maybe the future isn't about erasing foreign religions, but about restoring the balance. But what do you think? Would Africa have been stronger if its indigenous religions had remained dominant? Could there still be a future where African spirituality plays a bigger role in governance and society? Let's talk about it in the comments. Let the spirits of the baobab tree keep you grounded. Fly! Fly, my beautiful Africans, fly!
Awaken. What if, what if? What if, what if? What if, what if? What if you could hear the sound? Let deep in the hearts of our chosen. Would it sound like silence? Or the pounding of the tom-tom drums buried in the sand? What if the story was ours to tell? Rise where our forefathers fell. The hopes of ancestors seeping through our dreams like a brewing stone from the banks and streams of the night. Mama Africa, can you hear me calling? Can you hear him calling? I'll What